Better. Hey, Fran. Hi, Anka. Thanks for joining from across the pond. Hope you're doing well. Hi, Julie. Good morning, Denise. How's everybody doing today? I know I've got like a very crazy combination. A lot of electric pink and a pumpkin. I just wanted to show you guys. I just got this from Lisa yesterday. Thanks to Donna. So I can't quite remember what she said could go in here, but I have like a pretty good idea. So I think I am going to keep my bone folder in this little slot. Let me move this over because the volume button's stuck. This little slot that I've created here. But you also can, so now I can pull these out of here. You can put your bone folder, well, I guess you can fit two. You can put your bone folder in here. Yeah, definitely can't fit two. But I want to show you just real quick what I have in some of these other things. This is what I created. So you can get all of these crafter solutions. You can find them on Facebook and Etsy. But you can find all those products there. I made these a long time ago out of just little old paper that I have. And I'll show you. I have at least 3 of them. This is what I used to keep my stuff in. So I probably still will keep some things in it. But I have like all of my little glue, my Jennifer McGuire Quickie glue pens, which I forget to use for some reason. And then I do have a different glimmer pen. This is Nuvo makes this shimmer pen, aqua shimmer pen. This one is really nice as well. I like this one. Same equivalent to the Wink of Stella. And also, in case you didn't know, we only carry clear Wink of Stella with Stampin' Up, but they do make different Wink of Stellas. This one's actually black. I got this a while ago to use for Halloween, and then I never used it. So I think what I'll probably do is try to keep all of my my Wink of Stellas, keep all my Winks in the same spot. And then I'll keep like my glue pens in there. So I'll put this back up top. But you can put all of these, because I have a lot of them, you can put all of these spritzers in there. So you can fit those in there. And what else do I have? I have a lot. I always have a random assortment of paintbrushes in case I need to like dust the paint off of something. What did I do with that other one? Did I move it? Oh, right here. So I keep these in here just to like dust stuff off with. And then these two I actually purchased. These are brushes that, oh my goodness, not Jennifer McGuire, her BFF, Christina Werner recommended for watercoloring. This is kind of like an all-over wash brush. And then this is a, as you can see, it's got a, I think this is a number 8 round brush. It's supposed to be really good for dropping color. So obviously I haven't used this one yet because I still have the cap on it. But I have my brushes. I also have another crazy thing. These could also fit blender pens if you wanted to put a few of them in there. So that might be a good idea. I also have my Pilot envelope addressing pen, which I like. So maybe I'll keep one of those there. You could also put in your gel pen if you wanted to. You could even put your gel pen in here and your envelope addressing pen in here, and then maybe just like a regular pen. That way you could have some stuff handy. And I know I'm just talking and talking on. Hey, Tammy. Nice to see you. So I have a lot of different things, and I also have a syringe. And what might you ask is that for? So I actually use this syringe from time to time if I need to clean the goop out of anything. So like, for example, sometimes if your fine tip glue pen gets a little gooped up, if you take the lid off, you can kind of take the needle to clear it off. But also you can take this apart. So this comes out, and then this, sometimes you need a little muscle if you haven't done it in a while. But basically this is also a little needle in here. I used to use this much more when we had the old Crystal Effects bottle. If you had to like clear the, yeah, this is like so jammed up. I don't think anything would even come out of it. But if you have to clear the goop out of it, I know it's a little excessive that I'm using needles for that. But that's what happens when you're a hospital worker. You find different ways to use it. But this actually does come apart. So if you can't get it apart, you could run it under warm water. But there is a needle in here that you can clean out. So if it ever gets gooped up, that really does help with getting it clean. And don't mind me, I know you probably can see my cup of coffee there. I have had a lot of coffee this morning, so I am a little coffeeed up. So you can use this to clean out your glue pen if you need to, or your old Crystal Effects bottle if you still have it. But in case you haven't seen it, the shimmery effects, this actually comes out much nicer. The tip, it does come out really easily, and it doesn't get gooped up in the end. So I've been using this thus far, and I haven't had any issues with it. And that almost would fit in there. You could probably stick it in here if you wanted to. And this is a little bit, just a little too big. Plus, you could also put your scissors in here if you wanted to. If you have reverse angle tweezers, you could put them in there. So this is the MVP 2.0, and then this is the MVP. And just in case you have never seen it, this is the Tipsy, so it holds your glue upside down. So just in case you've never seen those, these are all products that Lisa and her husband John make. I think she said that they have been so busy that they're actually a little behind schedule, which is amazing for them. That makes me very happy. I'm happy that they're busy. So I think they added a 4th 3D printer. And again, thank you very much to my customer and very good friend, I would call her, Donna. She introduced me to this by sending me a Tipsy, and the rest is history. So this is some great stuff to have. You can pick the color. They also make the embossing gun. So just as a FYI, again, you can go to their website. But what I was going to make today, and I kind of did that as a side note because I just got this out and didn't use it yet, was I really wanted to make a Halloween project. I did this the other day for, where is my card? For a blog hop. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but the Stampin' Friends blog hop that I'm part of, we make a card and a project. So I just made this little cute, this is the mini curvy keepsakes box. So just so you know kind of how small it is. Let me see what I can put in size relation. So probably the bottom of it is about the size of a spot. So you could fit a spot in there if you wanted to, but you could definitely fit like some Hershey Nuggets, some Hershey Kisses. It's absolutely adorably cute. Obviously, once you put the ribbon on, you'd have to take it off to open it. So mine is just for display purposes. But we have a lot of really cool Halloween stuff, and I bought a lot of it. I didn't buy all of it, but I bought a lot of it. So I thought what we could do today is make a fun Halloween card. So this does have a coordinating die. Of course, I didn't grab it. And then we also have the Wonderfully Wicked, which goes with this cool Wicked die. I haven't even taken this one off of the paper yet. So you have a Wicked die, and then there's a little spider. So that's really cute. Remember, we do still have that black foil. Everything Festive has a nice Halloween stamp in it. Then you also have Harvest Hellos, which you could go pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern, depending on what you want to do. And then I brought out a couple extra things, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with these, but I have crackle paint. Not probably buffalo check, crackle paint, or maybe birch. Or we could even use the trees in the background for winter wood. So I'm really not 100% sure what I want to do with this. But I thought it would be fun to do something maybe where we have a card that has like 3 strips or something on it. Something like that. So let's see. I'm trying to think which live you showed. You can have your glue open. Throw the Tipsy. Oh, that's a good idea. You know, you probably could do that, but quite honestly, I don't really think it would leak out because you do have to squeeze it to get it to come out. If you think about that with your glue. So you probably could just leave it open. And honestly, worst case scenario, even if it did drip, it would be really easy just to pull that off there. But the glue doesn't really come out unless you squeeze it. So you probably could leave the tip off. That is a very good point. Good morning, Gail. Hi, everybody. Yeah, create on the fly. I feel like that's what I do the best. So when I did this one the other day, also, you might notice, this is Mango Melody, which is kind of a bright orange, but I think it works out really well with the color scheme. So let me grab this one other thing, because I want to show you this, because this one is the one that goes with the Spooktacular Bash. There are a lot of dies in here, and I do think the way these dies are, they are very ornate, but I do think that they would work really well with also maybe like really pretty frilly cards. Like you could use this very well into Christmas. I know it doesn't really necessarily go, obviously, with this part, but the shape of the dies I think are really nice. And the other thing that's neat is, so you'll have this that cuts out this solid piece here. So if you can see, it's solid. But then you also have this little one that you can stamp something and layer it on top, which is what I did with that. So it does have a lot of layering capabilities. So in case you saw this and you were kind of like, I totally got this. I love Halloween, but I also got this because I thought you could really use it for a lot of things after that. You could probably use it too if you wanted to make like a Victorian kind of Valentine-y card. It does have a lot of interlayering pieces that go along with it, and then they do match up very well. So there's that. And then when I did this one on here, I just didn't stamp the frame, so I just inked up just the words and then cut it out. So then you have, it could cut this one really small. You could cut out both of these. You could even cut out this if you wanted to. You could use this frame one on these, cut these out. And there are a lot of also things that you can cut out from the paper. So just in case you haven't seen it, this does have a lot of dies in it. So let me just show you one more thing. And I'm going to grab... So do we want to go with mango again, or we can use pumpkin pie? Up to you guys. I am going to grab my DSP. And... of course, it's the one all the way in the back. So here's the DSP, because this does... you can see all the little things you can cut out with it. And also, just as a side note, someone shared this the other day, so I thought I would tell you guys just in case. So these, this is the Mercury Acetate. And I just guess I didn't realize this, but you know, these do have a backing on them. Apparently they have a clear backing to protect them. I cut all of this for my party the other day, not even realizing, but it does have a clear acetate. You can see I'm peeling off there. A clear film to protect it. So you don't have to take it off, because I think everyone in my card class assembled theirs with that still on there and we didn't realize it, but you are able to remove it. So just as a FYI. And on the other one, I did put the, what was that? That was the metallic, the Delicata, the new ink. And I sprinkled the ice on it and it didn't stick. So just FYI, it doesn't stick. So be careful with that. And also a couple things with the, just to share with this the other day, I did sprinkle the ice on this as well, if you guys remember from the other day. And you are going to need to shake some of it off, because some of it does come off. Some of it did stick, but it's kind of like when you do the excess dump of embossing paste or embossing powder, it like some of it comes off. So when it dries, you do need to shake it off before it is finished. But some of it definitely did stick to this. So just as a FYI there. Hey, Lisa, pumpkin pie. All right, sounds good. So let me get out some pumpkin pie. And let's see what we come up with. As a matter of fact, I just ordered some pumpkin pie because I have hardly any left, and it's going to be Halloween season. All right, so what I'm going to do is, I saw the other week, Dawn Griffith did a very similar card like this, and I thought it was really cute. So I'm going to do a card very similar to what she did. So let's see if we're going to do this. Crosswise, I'm going to go ahead and cut it at 5 1/2. And we'll score this at 4 1/4. So she did hers where she actually trimmed off a piece. So what I'm going to do instead is attempting. We'll see what it looks like. I'm going to just do 3 layers, but I'm going to keep a second piece, because if I do like it, what we'll do is we'll cut one off and we'll stitch one together. So what I'll do is we'll cut off, make it 1 1/4 inches. So I'm just cutting 1 1/4 inches off, and then I'm going to cut off 1 inch. And you could probably do this to any variance that you want. And we'll put these 2 back together, because I think these cards are really fun, because it's kind of like a peekaboo card. And then maybe what we could do actually for this part instead, and you know what I'm going to do it this way. Just had an idea. I'm going to hook it together with the acetate paper. So we are going to do ours a little bit different. And I'm going to use the splotchy paper because I haven't used it thus far. So this one we ended up cutting, what did we say? It was 1 inch. So I'm going to make it, just for the sake of having a little bit of overlap, I'm going to go ahead and cut it at 1 1/4 inches. And then what we'll do is we'll overlay it, and then we will cover it up with some designer series paper. So this sounds like it's going to be a very involved card to me, if you ask me. I'm going to cut it at 5.5. That way it matches all the way. So what we'll do is we will lay this piece together. We will cover it up with DSP, and then we'll make a little part that's going to overlay there. So let's see what this looks like. So in the meantime, I want to go ahead and cut out some DSP. And since these crazy guys are on the front, how about we'll do this, because that'll be really fun. Oh, here's my blank piece, by the way, so you can see what it looks like, and then you could overlay that white piece on top of it if you want. So this one probably will measure. I do want to make sure I cover it up. So this is 1.25 inches. So I'm going to just take it 1/16 of an inch off. That way it really covers up the edge. And that's 2 inches. So let's do this. So we're going to go down to 1 7/8. Oh my gosh. And Frankenstein, how funny is that? That's who I got, because it kind of reminds me of my grandfather. Because my grandfather's name was Frank, so that's kind of funny. So we'll cut this piece here. And again, it's a very slim border because we do want to cover up that acetate just to make sure we hold it in place. And then we will do, I'm going to do one more strip. So that was 1.25 inches. So I'm going to do this at 1 1/8. And we'll do this by, same thing again. So what do we say? 5. I think I did this one at 5 1/2/3. So 5 3/8. Plus, if I cut the paper, there's more likelihood that I might actually make a second one. So there's that. There's that. And then this piece is going to go on the inside. And then what we'll do is we'll cut. I'm going to grab one more piece of pumpkin pie, because we're going to have to make strips to go across. Actually, you know what? Let's do it in black instead. We'll do it in black. Oop, that's gray. Actually, gray will work. We'll do gray. So this is dark. This is basic gray. So there's one. That should be good enough. Let's see. Oops. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, we don't want to have it too big. So I'm going to go with pieces that are, I'm going to start off with 4 inches across, and we'll see. 4 inches by 1.25 inches. I don't know how that's going to work. That might be a little too big. We might have to cut this down a little bit. So don't take my measurements for Word yet until I lay it out and see what we're going to do. Let me do one more. So 1.25 inches by 4. I think I'm going to end up trimming them down some, but we'll see. So we'll start with that. And we're going to need some white. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. I'm going to cut these to 1 inch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with 3.5, because I have a feeling we're going to trim it down a little bit. So 3.5 by 1. So, because I think we're going to end up trimming that 4 down to 3 3/4. All right, and this could be overkill, so we'll have to see what it looks like. Oh, thanks, Shar. That's very kind of you. All right, so I'm trying to move my paper piles to the floor here. All right, so let's see if we go with, move this over here. We can go with kind of something small on 2 of them, and then one of them will have like something that will be a statement. So if we would do the bat will definitely fit. We could even do part of the spider and the spider web. And then we could do like the apothecary bottles. They may be a little bit cut off. We could do spooky or creepy. So let's see. What I'm going to do first is, just so I can kind of figure out what I want to do, is I'm going to use my bone folder to really crease this. Okay, and we're going to just kind of lay this out for what we think. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can peel this. I can never tell what side it's on. All right, hold on. Let me grab my paper piercer with the hook. There we go. That worked out really well. So take that off. And so if this is here, and we're going to kind of lay this over top. I don't know. We might not even need that little thing to cover it up. We'll have to see. Okay, so I am going to, and I know everybody really loves when I use this, or at least hopefully gets a kick out of it. I am going to use Fast Fuse because I really want to make sure this sticks. So I'm going to just put it on the edge here. And I'll put it on the edge here. Like that. Make sure this is all up. Oh, look, I got sticky all over the back of it. That's all right. I'll take that off later. I'm going to put this here. Make sure it's lined up to the edge. And I'm just going to lay this on top. Hopefully that's lined up pretty well. All right, let me pull this apart. It's pretty good. I think I have a teeny bit of hangover here, so I'm going to cut just a little bit off. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing again. So you could use your liquid glue here as well. All I'm saying is hopefully this is going to come out the way I think I want it to come out. That's always the fun part about when you're doing something on the fly. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Let's see. That's kind of cool. Okay, so what we may end up doing is I might end up having to, and the other thing that I think is kind of fun about it, if you notice, is the picture is really stretched out here. So it's, since it's the same continuation of the same piece, it's the same picture, half and half. So we have that. So obviously this is going to have to be cut way down. So let's take a peek. If we were to, I'm going to say I might only need to be like 2 inches. Now that I'm thinking of it, let's see. So we have this one, I think I did 4. Let's just, for the heck of it, cut 1 to 2 and see. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Let's see. And typically I wouldn't go with 2s because things seem to look better in 3s. So I'm going to cut 1 down and we're going to just see what it looks like. If we don't like it, we could just kind of add a sentiment and finish it here. Cut this one down. So I'm just going to 1 7/8 by 1 for the white and then 2 by 1 1/4. All right, so let me move this out of the way. And the organizers, yes. In case you missed it, you can go back and watch that at the beginning. Crafter Solutions. Lisa is on here. If you have any questions, you can ask her. So, I don't know. I think this might be a little much, and we might have to just add a sentiment. But, because, let's see if we open this up, because you will be able to see this through here. So, if we put our, and this one is all goofed up, so don't really look at it. But if we put our panel in here, just so you can see, so you will be able to see white through there. And what we could do is we could kind of do them off, like off-centered, one here, like that. What do we think? Do we think it's too much? Because if we do, what we can do is we could use those panels on this, and we could just add like a little bit of DSP to it. We could decorate this up, make these bigger. We could do 3. This is still a little big, so I think I would still cut this down. I got nothing. Come on, people. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start stamping these just to see. And I'm going to grab my Memento ink. And we'll do a spider web. Just looking for a piece of scrap paper to stamp on. On the bottom, we can always do the bat, even though maybe the bat would most likely be on the top, but like that. And center, too much. Good enough. Thank you. I thought it was too much too, but I just was going with it. All right, so we're going to just end up, I'm going to stamp this because I already got this out, and we will use this for a different thing. So what we'll do is we will do a nice, just a central Halloween stamp for this, and we'll use this for something else. You can see here you have like 3 little pieces lined up. We could make these bigger. We could do this for a mini card, but instead, let's do, how about if we do a gray shape and have a spooktacular Halloween. We'll just put that on there. That way it will kind of ground it a little bit. So let's have a spooktacular Halloween. Move this one over here. And I'm going to do it in black. Let me see, which one did that go with? I kind of want one that's like a little bit bigger, but not huge. So see if this will fit here. Yeah. So I'm going to do this in black. All right, there's that. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a piece of black in the same, kind of the same pattern, and we'll just add a little bit to it. So I'm going to cut this twice. So I'm going to cut this out with this framelit, and then I'm going to cut a second piece out with a framelit, and we're going to somehow layer these two together. But the Mercury Acetate, the cool part about it is you really don't need a huge part of it. And this also, just in case you didn't notice, this is stitched. I don't think you can see that on there, but it is stitched, which kind of gives an extra coolness to it. But the Mercury Acetate, you can add a little bit and it really fits well. Kind of adds an accent without having to use a lot of it. Because I know sometimes when we'll get like that specialty paper, then you don't want to use it because it's special. All right, so there's that. And I want to do just one little thing. And I'm going to stamp this off before I do it because I want to just have just a little teeny bit of orange on this. So I'm going to make an orange spider, but I'm going to stamp it off so it's kind of see-through. Just so it's like a little bit of orange on there. All right, now let's see if we can pull this together. But this is a busy paper, so I do totally hear you on that. So what we can do is we can cut this in half. We can put a little bit on the top and then a little bit on the bottom. So I'm going to just take my snips, for the most part, kind of cut this in half. And then for the sake of being able to move it, I'm going to put some Tombow. That way, if I want to adjust it, I can. And then we'll put this here. So it's a little bit up. Hopefully I don't have a whole bunch of ink on my fingers so I'm not ruining it. And then the same here. Just a little bit down. This is a little bit off center. So the cool part about that is since it's off center and you have the liquid glue, you can kind of move it around. So we'll do that. And we'll put this on here. And I'm going to put this up with dimensionals just for the heck of it. And then so you could also, again, if this is a lot for you, you could definitely pick a less busy paper. but I think it's kind of a fun way to share some of your acetate. You can get more for your money that way by using little bits of it. Oh, for heaven's sake. Okay. So what we'll do is put this right there. And then you will have your white on the inside, which obviously I had my glue stuck to it. So I know you're not going to put glue down when you do it, but it will show through that it'll be white. So you could put that down. Other thing you could do too is you could put a clear window panel in between if you wanted to. So that would be kind of fun. And I do want to trim this just a teeny smidge up here. There's just a little bit that's hanging over. There we go. So I have a mono eraser. So what this will do is you can actually erase all of this glue, and it kind of will ball up. You can get these on Amazon. So you can ball up, you can erase all that. But the nice part is once you do actually put your white panel in there, you will see white through there. So it'll kind of brighten it up a little bit. So easy card. All we did was cut out a little strip. Again, you could completely eliminate the busyness of this if you wanted to by switching up the paper a little bit. You could make it have a little bit more of a border too if you wanted to by cutting this, but I wanted to make sure that I covered up the edge here so this acetate had something to stick to. So there's one. And then for the second one, let me just cover this up. What we will do is we'll do a strip. Now for this one, we will keep it more simple. So I'm not going to put a background layer of DSP. We're going to just put 3 strips of gray. So let me grab my gray cardstock again. Again, this is basic gray. You could use black if you wanted to as well. So if you have your panel here, so you figure this is a full panel here. So you at least want to have, I'll say like a 1/2 inch on each side. So this side is going to be your 4 1/4 side. So I'll say if you're taking off a 1/2 inch, that's going to take you down to, just to be on the safe side, we'll say 3 3/4, but I'm going to go a little farther. I'm going to go with 3 1/2. And then we will cut, let's see what 3 by 1 1/4 looks like. So if we did 1 1/4, so 3 by 1 1/4, 1, 2, 3. All right, so 3 by 1 1/4. So then we're also going to need some white. And I'm going to just trim these down so they are about 1/4 inch shy on each side. So, what did I say this was? Hold on a sec. 3 1/2. I'm sorry. 3 1/2 by 1 1/4. And I feel like this one I trimmed a little too short. This is 3 by 1. So they are totally, hold on. 3 1/2. This must be, this piece here is a little bit crooked. 3 1/2 by 1 1/4. Okay. So now we're going to go with 3 1/4, and then these will be by 1. That way you'll have a nice edge. And I just need one more piece. Let's see what this one measures. This might be just the ticket. 3 1/4 by 1. Perfect. All right, so there's our 3. So then, just to give a little bit of visual interest to the background, since we're not going to like really crazy it up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of these background stamps that I was talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and do Winter Woods. I'm going to do the woods. So this one is a slippery one. So this is the clear mount. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a piece of, in case you've not seen this, I'm going to take a piece of the extra from my trim this off just a little bit. Extra from my these are from the cling stamps. And hopefully I can do this without goofering it up. Let's see. So I'm going to take my paper piercer and you kind of slide it underneath. should lift up. So I'm going to peel this off. Okay, and then this is the sticky side. I'll put this down onto my stamp, just like that. It's funny because when you do this at first, especially doing it on camera, it's really hard to do it without messing it up. But the more and more you do it, it works out better, which is why I do it all the time now. So in case you're like, okay, Rachel, we know how to mount these. So then you have a very sticky stamp there. It's just better for me practicing to be able to take it off. So. Nope, too short. Okay, so we have that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this. Now, we could do this two different ways. We could do it in black, but it might be a bit much. We're going to kind of go all over it. So we can either do it in pumpkin pie, so it'll be tone on tone, or we could do it in Versamark. I want it to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to do pumpkin pie. If you want it to be a little lighter, or maybe you haven't tried it before, then you could do Versamark, because that does tend to kind of dry slightly lighter. And I'm kind of going off. So I'm just going to create an opposite pattern here. And then I will go back in and fill it in. Okay, so there's that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp off for the second one. So we could you can do more than one. So just for the sake of it. That way we'll get finished a little sooner. Okay, so there's that. You have your trees. Could look like something totally different. So kind of just what you want to make of it. And then we have our gray. So with the gray, I'm going to do something similar. Flip this over. I'm going to take my basic gray ink and I'm going to just put cobwebs all over the back of this. If you wanted to kind of get the effect so they were contiguous, you could also line them up and stamp them so pieces were on top of each other. It's going to cover up for the most part, but still give it a little bit of something. So there's that. All right, so then you have, I'm trying not to get these filthy with my fingers. You're going to have your white pieces that are going to lay on top. So what we will do is, let's see, I have, depending on the size of these, so this kind of all does play into this with the size. Let's see if these will fit on here. So we can do part of our apothecary jars. We can kind of let them go off the page, which is fine. And then we will do the cat on one. And again, he'll go off and we'll add a sentiment on the side here. And then on this other one up top here, we'll add the bat. And then we will just wrap these up. Probably add a little bit of color in on this one, okay? So I'm going to stick with black for all of these. Hey, Pamela. Hi, Alethea. Thank you guys for joining. All right, so this is off. If this bothers you, which the size of it is a little bit tiny, let's see. We'll put the frog on. So the tops are cut off instead. We'll go that way. I want this one to dry because we're going to color this in a little bit. So let's, in the meantime, we'll see what we can do with the cat. You can always obviously make these a little bit larger too if you want. There's your cat. And the only thing is you don't want to cover up so much of your background. That is probably the hardest part for me, is you don't want to cover up so much of your background that you can't see it. Like that you have so much card, so much stuff on your card that you can't really, it basically, what you don't want to do is you don't want to use so much on top of it that it's like, why did you even put that on the background? So I totally understand with this one. You definitely don't want to overkill it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add something here. So let's see. How about we'll do Wicked. Is that going to fit on here? That might be a little too big. And I'm going to do the same we did earlier, Have a Happy Halloween, because I think that one was cute. So we'll go have a. All right, and then I just have to remember, where did I put that stamp? There it is. Oh, I don't know if this is going to fit now that I look at it. Might have to put it down here. All right. This might become one of those cards where it just went like way too far. So what you can do is you could do one other thing with this. Just again, I'm going to try to bring in a little bit of the orange. So I'm going to just very, very lightly sponge the edge. Just so it kind of sticks out against the basic gray. Because sometimes that basic gray can be a little monotone. I should say flat. It's a very flat color, the basic gray is. But it is a good complement for the pumpkin pie. Okay, so we have that. And I'm going to color these in. I'm going to kind of just go simple. I'm going to do the Stampin' Right markers. Just do the frog. I'm kind of trying to do a little bit of a not fully coloring him in, if that makes sense. I think I left my Pear Pizzazz marker downstairs, so I'll go with Granny Apple Green. Just bring in a little bit different color for him. So there's that. I did leave my Seaside spray, so I'm going to use a blender pen for this, because this Seaside spray is an excellent color for, I don't want to say replacing, but for kind of filling in where the soft sky left. Really good for glass. Good for skies and backgrounds. So if you haven't gotten this one yet, for some reason, it's a really good color. I like it a lot. So I'm just kind of filling in a little bit of the glass area. Then I'm going to go gray granite for the spider. And the head. And once again, you know what? I should have done this. I'll do it with Balmy Blue. I'm going to do the eyeballs just with a different Balmy Blue. Those spiders don't really have blue eyes, but maybe Charlotte had blue eyes. And then for the last one, I'm going to do Sahara Sand just to fill in these bones a little bit, okay? And I'm going to just do a little bit. I'm not really doing a lot. Sahara Sand is also a very odd color. If you've never used it, it's kind of almost like a green tan. So it's very good for certain things, but some things when you do it, you're kind of like, whoa, that is not what I thought it was going to look like. So there are those guys. What we can do is we can always add, did I leave it in here? No, I did not. You can add a little bit of, that one's not open yet, Wink of Stella. Kind of looks like a little swirly. There we go. Well, kind of also the Wink of Stella is another good thing because it kind of also blends the colors. All right, so there's that. And if you wanted to, you could even take your pen. You could make like some flying marks for these bats. So it looks like they're flying. And you could draw like some gnats or something around them. But anyway, we'll leave it at that. So let's put these three together. And I'm going to use, again, the liquid glue. That way, if I need to adjust these a little bit, They will adjust. You can always add something, oops, to the inside if you'd like to add something extra. And we probably could have even put the have a at the top. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these down and we'll see which one we like the best. And if you have old Stampin' Up! Stamp sets, which I'm sure all of you do, because I know I do. I never get rid of the Halloween ones. There's lots of different little things. You could add little, let's see, maybe if I do it that way. Nah, that's too far apart. You could always add little other doodads to it as well. But the other thing that we have, and these really cool Monster Bash elements, so you could put a skull and crossbones. So I'm going to put one of these over here and just put a couple of these little, oops, dots. I always tend to like things in threes, like the triangulation of it, I guess. I think it's somehow more aesthetically pleasing. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3. We have that. Now, what I say is, what in the world did I do with my base card? There it is. So then we will add these to that. And I'm going to, just for the heck of it, since I had this out, just going to sponge the corners just a little bit. This is basically just with the residual that was on there from the pumpkin pie. All right, and then what we'll do is we'll put these 3 on. And again, I'm going to use the Tombow just because that way if I want to, I can move it. And also, once again, as a side note, it's really funny. If you could see how my desk started to how it is right now, is just hilarious. So instead of doing these on a line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of stagger them. So we'll have one to the left, one to the right, and then one kind of, let's see. You know what, I might have to go back, forth and back. Which is the good part about having the liquid glue, because you can kind of adjust it. Which, really, kind of laying out, obviously took a little bit. Move this just a little bit down. But really, this would be a pretty simple card to make. Once you figure out what you want to do and what your colors are and what your sizes are. Pretty easy. Also incorporated the winter woods. So winter woods into a Christmas card, to a Halloween card. But you could even, if you wanted to, you could add a layer of the acetate over top of this. And you could bump it up with, especially this one, because this one has a lot of covered space. So you could put dimensionals on it, but you could pop it up and then put these on top of it. But really cute. I mean, turn it out super cute. Again, sometimes the busier cardstock is really adorable, but it's very hard to feel like your card isn't like too much. But honestly, I'm going to tell you, most people you would give this card to probably would think it was really cute, especially if you give it to little kids, because you know they love like all those over the top things. Have you ever seen a kid arrange something? If you guys have ever watched Christian, you know he likes to add like tons of stuff to cards, and my niece likes to have things like upside down and sideways and everything, so they're really cute. But anyway, one other final reminder, I did post this on to the my Facebook page, but if you have a bonus day coupon, remember they're only good through the 31st, so make sure you use those. If you had no matter who your demonstrator is, if you have it and for some reason you can't find it, have your demonstrator call. So if you can't find yours, you can call me and I can help you out, but they can resend you your code. So make sure that if you can't find it, or you don't know if you lost it, or whatever the case may be, contact your demonstrator. Or if you're a demonstrator and for some reason you can't find those, call Demo Support. They were really helpful in getting those taken care of. And otherwise than that, I will be back again on Tuesday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time with another video. I'm thinking Tuesday. Tuesday is not school yet. No, we're still Tuesday. I'm probably going to switch days once school starts again, but I'm just not going to know what that day is. And I think I'm going to try to do more than one day. So stay tuned for that. I will try to post something on my page, but hopefully you'll be able to catch me live one day a week at least. I'm going to aim for 2 days. You never know, it might be 3. We'll see what happens. I also did put some information. I'm going to do my very first ever Designer Series paper share. So if you're interested in that, I did put a link to my Google form on the Facebook page here. You do have to fill out your information, but basically a paper share is where we will get a certain number of people. We will split it. It includes shipping to you. I have to obviously cut the paper up, package it, and all that kind of stuff, and then send it to you. You will get it in a priority mailer, so it will come faster, which also was a little bit easier for me to slip in some extra goodies there, which, you know, I always have extra stuff to get rid of. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so very much for joining me, and I will see you guys back next week. If you have any questions, be sure to shoot me an email, rachthestamper@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.